Guys, welcome my people. Welcome to another fabulous lipstick, lip balm and literacy virtual book reading series here on Facebook. Hey, Madam Rose, thanks for coming in. So we come on Saturdays, 11 a.m. or 2 p.m. But today is 2 p.m. So thank you for coming in today. I have fabulous authors for you. We are starting. Our featured author for today is LaMonique Mac. She's going to be talking to us about poetry and cupcakes and how she got into, her 7 lessons. Monique is an inspirational writer and she has a very inspiring story about her life. And it's so interesting that she used the book as a poetry. Hello, Mr. John. Thanks for coming in. She used the book, she wrote poetries, but then in each chapter she has recipes. And they are cupcakes recipes. That's why she calls it cupcake and poetry. So, and then we have Yvette Toko. Yvette is the author of the Marriage Journal, a 7-week journey. So the Marriage Journal is a book she put together for cross-cultural relationship. If you are in a cross-cultural relationship, like in my home country Nigeria, they call it tribal, intertribal relationship. So if you come from that kind of relationship, that book will really be helpful to you, especially when it comes to communication. Communication is an important part of everyday life that we live, either at home or at work, or even just dealing with people on a day-to-day basis. And when you are in a relationship, it's even more important to have good communication process in place for you to have a smooth relationship, and especially if you come from 2 different backgrounds. So Yvette will be talking about that today. And of course we have Deborah Sawyerr. People by now should know Deborah Sawyerr. After Bukola, you will be seeing Deborah Sawyerr. So Deborah Sawyerr too will be coming on today. But we're going to start with our featured author for today, and it's LaMonique. Thank you, my people. Sarah, thank you.
Hello, Bukola. Hey.
Ready for our dance competition?
It's time to jam. I'm not that much of a dancer, but I'll try to put in some effort, all right? So my people don't dance, they just pull up the pants and lean back. Lean back. Do the rock away. Do the rock away. You're such a good dancer. I was like, what am I going to do? My husband was like, do the kid and play, but y'all can't see all that, so I can't do the kid and play. All right, y'all remember the prep? This is old school, the prep.
Thank you so much for coming in, LaMonique.
Thank you for giving me my exercise for the day, Bukola.
Yeah, so welcome on the show. It's Lipstick, Lip Balm and Literacy virtual book reading series where you meet authors and hear from them. And we want to hear, most importantly, the behind the scenes.
Okay.
So, thank you so much, LaMonique, for coming on today to share with us your knowledge and expertise and why you did that book. What lessons are there that we can also learn on the cupcakes, cupcakes and poetry, and the lessons that you shared in cupcake and poetry?
Yes. Well, there was 7 life lessons, and I'll just tell to get the whole 7 lessons, you'll want to check out the book. But I can tell you 2 of the major lessons for me was forgive yourself and forgive others. And as Christians, as people who try to live up to a good moral code, we know that we're supposed to forgive others, but I think sometimes we forget to forgive ourselves. And especially when we have other people around us, you know, that knew us from when we was back in Egypt, or they know the human mistakes that we made. And sometimes it can be hard to move forward if you don't forgive yourself. And so, you know, to me, that was important. And so, you know, I liken it to the story of the conversion of Saul to Paul. So when, you know, before Saul became Paul, before he was on that road to Damascus, he was pretty much a Christian murderer. Before he understood who Jesus was. And, you know, Jesus stopped him and converted him. But it's not easy. I know, Laverne, it's not easy, but in order to move forward in life, you have to. Otherwise, you're stuck. And so, you know, once I understood how much Jesus used Paul, you know, even though he had killed other Christians, he had other Christians beheaded, but Jesus was still able to use Paul to not only do his works, but to write, you know, 2/3 of the Bible in the New Testament. Then Paul went on to say, hello, Sarah, thank you for joining. Paul went on to say, I have wronged no man. I have wronged no man. So at that point, he had truly forgiven himself. Yet he become a new creature in Christ Jesus. Old things was passed away. Hello, Sophia. Thank you. Yes.
I'm sharing other pages. Go ahead. I'm just sharing.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah. So, you know, that's a message of hope to other people because, you know, so after understanding the full, you know, thing about Saul's conversion to Paul, no one, including myself, has the right to hold me hostage to my past. And I think other people need to be freed of that. That was one of the lessons, but the biggest lesson was the lesson of love. Because, you know, I had been saved, quote unquote, saved for 20 plus years, but I really didn't understand love. I knew a lot about religion, but not a lot about love. And Jesus said that was the most important commandment. When he was asked, they said, teacher, what is the most important commandment? And Jesus said, number 1, love God with all your heart, your mind, and your soul. And number 2, love others as you love yourself. And so I think as Christians, sometimes we come off as mean. We come off in the workplace, backbiting each other. We come off judging people. None of that is love. And Jesus said that was the most important commandment. And the Bible said faith worketh by love. So if you've been saved for 10, 15 years, you can't understand why it's not working for you. Maybe you're not loving others. And so I think I was held back so long by living religiously and not understanding about God's love that I just had to share with other people.
Thanks. You know, I really love what, and I didn't know this was what we're going to be talking about today when I was talking about love earlier on today. You see, it looks like there is a message here for all of us to love, to walk in love, love one another, love yourself, and love your neighbors. So, how would you describe the process of doing this book and really pouring out that energy to be able to see yourself as somebody who is loving or somebody who needs to walk more in love?
Okay, the process of seeing, you mean the writing the book or the process of...
Yes, of writing the book.
Of writing the book. Okay, well, the book, I want to tell you, the book came about in such a weird, different kind of way. God first gave me the title of the book, Cupcakes and Poetry. And so I had like an accumulation of poems from over the last 10 plus years. And then I had been doing like cupcakes as like a side business with my kids. Me and my children made cupcakes and other baked goods, and we sold them to the company that I worked at. We also made them for weddings, and we made them for baby showers and graduations. And so a lot of people would remark on my cupcakes. Here's a picture of one, by the way. That's a mini one. So, because I usually make them look like little flowers, and people really like that. And so God gave me the the term cupcakes and poetry. And I thought, oh, this would be so easy. I'll just put some recipes and then I'll just put my poems in there and boom, snap, boom, I'll have a book. And God said, no, 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 you got to go a little deeper. I thought it was going to be just a snap. And God said, you got to go a little deeper. Okay, and so I ended up doing a vision board party with a married couple of friends of mine, me and my husband. And when we did the vision board party, my friend Teresa, she's actually a photographer back in Saginaw, she was saying how she had studied up on like other people doing Christian vision boards and how their visions had came to pass, you know, like really soon when they did their vision boards and they focused on their vision boards. So we did a vision board party. We did it live on Facebook, and on the board, on my vision board, I made like a bookshelf, and I wrote my book like in the past tense as if it had already happened, because the Bible says, "Call those things that be not as though they were." So that was my vision board. That was that night. That later on that evening, I had a class because I had my friend Jerry Darby. I was actually marketing her book, Stepping Stones, and she had put me in an author's marketing class. So in this author marketing class, this was all about how I was supposed to market my client's book. At the very end of the class, the teacher said to me, "LaMonique, are you sure there's nothing else you want to ask me? Do you have anything you want to say?" And I said, well, and this was like at 12 o'clock in the morning. And I said, well, I do have a book and I have like the outline, but I don't have it together. And I'm not sure where to move forward. She said, well, you should have said that a long time ago. She directed me to Amazon to do a pre-sale, and she directed me to go to Canva and make my book cover. So by 3 a.m., after the day after I made my vision board, by 3 a.m., I had a book for sale on Amazon called Cupcakes and Poetry, 7 Life Lessons. So wow. Then, because that's the way Amazon works. You can do the pre-sale with just your outline, and then they give you 90 days to actually produce the book. And so I needed those 90 days because the Lord was like, I was going to different conferences. I was seeing different prophets. You know, I just was like placed in situations where more and more information was being downloaded to me from heaven and from other places to put in this book, and more revelations were coming. And so I worked on the book over the 90 days. Now, you know how we do sometimes, like when you got 60 days, you're moving at a slow pace. You got 30 days and it's like, oh my gosh. Because once people buy those books, they pay for them. If you're a person of integrity, you got to get that product out there.
Yes.
So I was working, me and my husband were in the middle of moving from Michigan to Alabama at like on the last 30-day mark, like the last 14-day mark. And so I'm finishing up the book, finishing up the edits. He's on the highway driving. I'm on the laptop. We're stopping at cities and going to Panera's and uploading the next final chapter. I mean, but we made that date, baby. We made that date. Yes.
Oh, good. You know, it's good to hear this from authors, so those who aspiring to write their book can really see that you can do it. And I want to use this moment to acknowledge, I see Professor Joseph Mbele in the room. Thank you so much, Professor, for joining in. Professor Mbele was actually the one who opened my own eyes to self-publishing in 2009. And I was able to publish my first book using Lulu. Thank you so much for joining us, Professor. And then I see Sheyi Hopewell.
Yes, thank you, Ms. Hopewell, for joining.
Thank you so much for joining. He's coming back on the show next month. And I hope, Professor, I'm going to be reaching out to you. Hopefully, you can come on the show and share some of your expertise with us too on how to do your book and gain the confidence to do it. I really like the story you shared about the process, you know, how you had that deadline and you were at the same time writing to get the book done, and you still got it done. That is it. Don't be discouraged and don't be afraid that, oh, you're not going to get it done, or how are you going to get it done? You are going to get it done. See somebody's experience moving, driving and, you know, on that road trip, moving, she's typing in the car, sitting beside her husband. So you can do it if you are out there and you want to really publish your own book. You can do it. So okay, our time is running out. What will be the last word you have for the audience today before we bring Yvette on? Yvette is coming on.
Well, I guess the last word I want to say is you can do it like Bukola said. You haven't missed your last shot. You know, I'm just a light out here dispersing hope and dispersing light and flare sometimes. And, you know, the way I started out is not the way I ended up. You know, and you don't have to be either. It's like no matter what your socioeconomic background is, no matter if you came from the wrong side of the tracks, no matter how many cars were stacked up against you, Jesus said that you're more than a conqueror, that you dominate, and that you're an overcomer. And so if you begin to walk in your gifts and your talents, whatever they may be, if it's writing, whatever it is, if you walk in it, doors will be open for you. Opportunities will come to you like a magnet, just like me being on Bukola's show right now. That's an opportunity that came because I was walking in my talent. If I was sitting at home with my light hid, she would not know to even place me on this show to speak about my book. And if you'd like to check out the book, it is on Amazon, Cupcakes and Poetry, 7 Life Lessons.
And I'll put the link in the description. So the description of this video has the link. So please go check out the book and get your own copy on Amazon.
And I want to thank you so much, Bukola, and God bless you, and God bless the audience.
Thank you so much. Thanks. So we're going to be sending you off with music.
Okay.
Bye. So while we are waiting for Yvette. I can't invite Yvette. I don't see your live icon on, Yvette. So could you please have your live icon on so I can invite you, Yvette? So while we are waiting for Yvette, I would like to thank excuse me. I would like to thank our musician for today. We're listening to Folake Umosen, Seni Olubowale. Thank you for letting us use your music during our show. Thank you so much. And then the necklace I'm wearing today. This is another graduation gift that I got from Robin Spanner. Thank you so much, Robin. I love my necklace. I love it. I would like to really thank you for your support over the years and this special gift you gave to me for my graduation. Thank you so much. So I'm still waiting for Yvette to have a live icon on so that I could invite her. So Yvette, what's going on with you? So while we are waiting for Yvette, I would like to talk about today. Even though I said I wrote it there, human trafficking, you know, I'm the advocacy person when it comes to human trafficking, domestic violence, and sexual assault. Human trafficking is an important topic to talk about, especially educating one another about this issue. There are millions of people who are victims of human trafficking around the world, and sometimes we have victims around us as our neighbors, even as family members, and we have no idea that they are victims of human trafficking. And there are some people who are victims themselves, but they don't know that they are victims of human trafficking. So it's important to get educated about this issue and learn more about the issue of human trafficking. Also, something came up this week. I posted on my Facebook page asking what is human sex trafficking. You know, that is a language issue. It's also important when we are talking about the subject matter to make sure we are using the right and appropriate language to carry the community along, because when we keep giving wrong information to people are really not going to learn anything from what we are trying to teach to them or what message we are trying to pass across. And I think that's part of the reason why every day we see victims right in front of us, yet we can't help them because we don't know. The language we are hearing is not similar to what we are seeing. How can we make those two to connect so we can hear and see the same thing instead of hearing and seeing different things? So when it comes to language, there is nothing like human sex trafficking. It is human trafficking. That is the crime, human trafficking. Sex trafficking is one form of human trafficking. So there is nothing like human sex trafficking. That is a language issue right there. It's human trafficking, but there is sex trafficking. Sex trafficking is a form of human trafficking. It's the exploitation of somebody for sex. And there is labor trafficking. So you hear human sex trafficking, but you don't hear human labor trafficking, because there is nothing like human sex trafficking. So labor trafficking is another form of human trafficking, and is the exploitation of somebody's labor. And then there is even organ trafficking. Organ trafficking is known as different things to different people depending on where you are across the world. It is something that is being addressed at the United Nations level. So organ trafficking is harvesting people's body parts and organs for sale in the black market. And sometimes a victim of labor trafficking can become a victim of organ trafficking. Sometimes a victim of sex trafficking can become a victim of organ trafficking. And sometimes the person is just trafficked for the organ. And it's sad that even organ trafficking happens to dead people too. So sometimes dead bodies are harvested for sale. So for those of you who cremate your family members, you know whether you are really getting your family members' bodies back, ashes. Are you getting their ashes, or you are just getting wood back as their ashes? Perhaps their body parts have been sold in the black market. So please, let's be aware of this issue, and language especially is really important when we are talking about this very sensitive subject, in order to help ourselves and protect our loved ones from becoming victims. And domestic violence, sexual assault, even female genital mutilation. I think it broke out recently in Minnesota that they're trying to pass the law on female genital mutilation, because some parents are taking their kids to Michigan, can you believe it, to go cut them. Isn't that so unbelievable? We are in the US. If it was happening in their home country, we would say, oh, it's because their home country is not civilized. Why is this happening even right here in the US? It's because of culture. Our culture is a part of us. Culture is not something we learn in school. Culture is what we are born with. We learn it through observation. We learn it through family practices and community practices. And we have become so used to it. There are some things that we just believe in it because it's part of our culture. Even sometimes we make statements such that, that's how we do in my culture, or that's how we do it in my family. That's how we do in my culture. So because it is a cultural practice, it doesn't matter where the people are. It doesn't matter where the person is. They just automatically perform the cultural rites or the cultural things they perform. Whether that thing is a risk to human life or that thing is a crime. So that's why it's important to also pay attention to cultures and begin to do more education in this area, to start creating awareness among cultures where this happens, so this does not continue to happen in cultures. I'm still waiting for Yvette. So meanwhile, I have I have the living label, the link, there's a link there to my books. It will take you to the books where you can get autographed copies of my books. Either it's my book on human trafficking or my book on something else. I have a book called Quit Your Day Job. Yes, Quit Your Day Job, 5 steps to Turn your passion to money using blogging and social media. And basically that book teaches you, it shows you with screenshots, step-by-step process of starting a blog using the blogger. I talk about blogger a lot. The reason is because now, after trying out WordPress for I don't know how many years now that I've been using WordPress, and going back to blogger, because I think I started from blogger first but didn't take it seriously before I went to WordPress. I realized that blogger is easier to use for anybody. It's really easy. You don't need to deal with captchas because blogger takes care of the captcha for you, meaning you don't need to deal with spam. If you are on WordPress, you're going to be dealing with a lot of spam. And unfortunately, when you have your own self-hosted domain on WordPress, that's when you deal with the spam. But when you are working through the free WordPress takes care of spam for you. But as soon as you move to self-hosted domain, then you are on your own. And that is the advantage that Blogger has. Whether you have a self-hosted, a custom domain on Blogger or not, Blogger will still provide you with the captcha, meaning it will help you kick off spammers from your website. Spam can be so annoying on any website. So Blogger helps you to do that. And if you are new to technical stuff, that book really helps you to lay it down and set up. It's hands-on. It's a textbook, and it's a textbook that I'm attaching to the Empowerment and Hope Academy for people to use to set up their website and their landing pages, because landing page is really important. We're talking about author here. We're talking about books. Your books, another thing is, it's not just enough to write your book and get it published. You have to constantly market your book. And I'm glad that Professor Mbele is here today. Professor Mbele is here today. I'm so glad, because I remember Professor Mbele told me then, he said, your book, you have to like sell your book like the market women. You have to carry your book. You have to like kind of be the one hawking your own book. You have to go there and promote your book and take your book to places and set it down for people to see that you have a book so you can sell, which is true. He told me that and he invited me to share his table with him at one of the book fairs in the Twin Cities here. Thank you so much. And I've taken that with me since then about promoting your book. Promoting your book is not only in sharing it on social media and just sharing on Facebook. You have to go out. You have to contact your local library. Tell them you want to do a book reading. Trust me, they will open their library to you to do book reading. If your local library does not take you, go to the next local library. You'll be surprised which local library will be happy to have you. Some libraries are specifically constantly looking for authors to come and do an event at the library, because it brings people into the library. They want people to come into the library, and when there is author reading, it draws traffic to the library. So libraries like to do author reading. But I know that it varies from library to library. So check with your local library. Check to see what they have. And libraries, when you are using library rooms, they don't let you can't sell. But guess what? As an author, when you are using library room, they set everything up for you. They arrange chairs. They do. All you need to do is just show up with you and your book. And guess what? Also, advantage for authors, when you go to do library reading, they let you sell your books. They just tell you, oh, we're not going to handle the money, but you can sell your book to the audience. So that is one option for you. If you have written your book and you are looking for ways to market that book and get your book out there, go to your local library, contact the local library, so that you can sell your books there. And you can even give them copies, maybe one copy, maybe 2 copies, however you want it, and give to that local library for them to have on the shelf so people can read. I did my first library reading last December, And guess what? My first book, because I had a book that was out since 2009, my first book that Professor Imbele helped me with, In Prison, The Travels of a Traffic Victim. You know, when I got to the library, they told me that there was a queue on the book. People put the book on hold. There was a queue on putting that first book on hold. That is an advantage for you, especially if you have more than one book out. Trust me, you will be surprised. You will go to library for library event and your book will be on hold. People will be waiting to read your book, and that gives you more exposure in your own local community too. So contact your local library to see how you can do book reading at your local library, because this book reading thing is about learning tips. So ISBN issue. So with ISBN, you have the option. Let's say you are using CreateSpace and KDP to publish your book. With CreateSpace, if you use their ISBN, they will put it in global reach. Global reach means there are other outlets. Your book will be there in other outlets. And there is one more thing they add to it. If you use their own ISBN, they put your book in the Library of Congress. But if you use your own ISBN on CreateSpace, they are not going to put your book in the Library of Congress. So this is how to get around that, because I've done both. I've used CreateSpace ISBN and I've used my own ISBN. If you are using your own ISBN, you see, it is a greater advantage for you when you have your own ISBN. You can publish that one book in other platforms too. You can publish it in multiple platforms. So for example, I use Lulu. Lulu was my first love. So I still publish on Lulu. So, and the thing with Lulu is that when you use your own ISBN, Lulu will put you in the Library of Congress. So you see, if you publish your book on Lulu and then you go to publish the same book on CreateSpace, CreateSpace will publish it because it's your own ISBN. So you can take it anywhere to publish. And the fact that you have it on Lulu, they will put it in the Library of Congress for you. So you don't need to care if CreateSpace is going to put it in the Library of Congress or not. But if you know that you can't buy your own ISBN yet, then you can do CreateSpace. And it's just that it's only on CreateSpace that you can publish your book. You can't publish it anywhere else. If you use their ISBN, you can sell anywhere you want to, but you cannot publish it elsewhere because it's their ISBN, it's their own property. So if you publish it there, what will happen is that they will put it in the Library of Congress also if you use their own ISBN. So these are some of the tips that you need to know about self-publishing and publishing your own book yourself. Is not as difficult as people think it is. If you have $500, you can publish your own solo book instead of giving that $500 to somebody else to go and write one chapter in somebody's book. You know, you can use that $500 to publish your own solo book if you have $500. And trust me, you don't even need $500 to publish your own solo book. You don't need, all you need to publish your own solo book in this time and at this moment, all you need is you and your creativity. You just need, and like some people say, oh, you know, I can't sit down to write. I don't even know how to start writing. Okay, excuse me, start talking. What is it you think you want to put in that book? Use Google Voice to record yourself. And Google Voice is so good that once you start doing it, after a while, Google Voice will recognize your voice very well and be able to pick your words and diction and write it correctly. At first, it might write something else and you're wondering, what is Google Voice writing for me? But trust me, the more you use Google Voice, the more the app will begin to get used to the sound of your voice and pick your diction and write correctly for you. And you will only have little bits and little pieces to clean up in it to put your stuff together. And that way, you can write your own book. You can even start from just writing poetry. You can start from writing short books. You really do not need a lot. Go into the book market, go to the library. You will see some books as little as 20 pages. You will see some books even shorter than that. You will see some books that are like 400 pages. Some books are like 800 pages. So there is no rule to how many pages you have to write in your book. I'm not able to bring a vet on. I don't know why the live icon is not coming on, and I don't see Deborah here today. So I'm going to be ending this book reading series today, and I just want to thank you all for coming in today. God bless you. I hope we can have Yvette at another time. Thank you so much. And next week Saturday we are going to be having a publisher. I mentioned it before that we're going to be having a publisher. We're going to be having a publisher. She's the publisher of Planting People and Growing Justice, and she is Dr. Atika Taina. She's also the Vice President of Inclusion and Diversity at St. Thomas University. So she's going to be talking to us about her book. She has done more than one book, and she's going to also be talking to us about publishing next week Saturday. So next week Saturday will be at 11 a.m. That's when she's available to come on the show. So I will see you on next week Saturday. Thank you. What's wrong with my computer? Thank you so much for coming in today.
Thank you, Papa. Oh, yeah. Thank you, Lord. Say thank you. Hey, Jesus, thank you. Thank you, Lord.
Welcome to another segment of Monday Motivation with Bukola, with Monday Money Mastery. With me, Deborah Sawyerr, your host on Monday Money Mastery. I want to say thank you again for joining us on this segment of Monday Motivation with Bukola. Thank you for having me on here to be able to share with you another money tip, trick, and idea. So, just by way of introduction, for those of you who are watching this segment of Monday Motivation with Bukola, especially this discussion about money, I am Deborah. I am your expert money literacy educator for children. I am your money literacy educator for children and adults as well. So today we are going to be talking about money and mindset. Now, for those of us who talk about money, like myself, when we are discussing it or sharing our ideas with the rest of the world, we tend to maybe come across as though, we've got it all sorted out. But the truth of the matter is, it is a work in progress. It's taken a long time for us to be able to attain these levels and reach this, a place where we can come on social media and talk about money and how we do things, how we budget, how we spend, how we save, how we invest, and even sometimes how we make mistakes and when we make mistakes. So today I've decided on the topic money and mindset, and the reason is I wanted to encourage and motivate you all who are watching this to say that with anything in life, when we are making decisions or wanting to change certain behaviors that we engaged with in the past and we no longer want to do them going forward, the first thing that we have to tackle, and it's the same for money. If I have been, mismanaging my money in the past and I see that I don't want to do it anymore, or someone's telling me, hey, you can do it differently and make your life different, then the first thing that I need to deal with is my mindset. So wherever your mindset is, if it's up here, if it's here in your chest, if it's on your arm, wherever you figure that your mindset is, we need to educate that too. That needs to change. Because if the mindset is not tapped into, nothing that we do in the physical can happen. So we have to start to shift and change that mindset. And so with money, the only way that I think you can change your mindset, apart from you saying to yourself, I've made a decision today that I no longer want to do this, the easiest way that I would encourage you to start to change that mindset is to just start. Start with those changes you want to make with your money. Don't overanalyze it. Don't, dissect it. Don't sugarcoat it. Don't make excuses. And if you do make excuses, know those excuses are over and done with, and then, just move on and get on with it. One of the other ways that could help you to shift that mindset is to be committed to wanting to change that behavior. So committed to it. You want to be consistent as well. Okay, so consistency and commitment. So commit to it and say, I'm going to do this, and be realistic about your commitment. If it means that you are going to save once every month, once every 2 months, then that is what you do. Set a timer, set a reminder, and say, this is the day I'm going to do it. And as those days are coming up, or as the day is coming up, have a reminder that says, in 2 days' time, I am committed to saving £10, and start to gear yourself towards that. The other thing is being consistent. I'm just looking on the side because I've got my note there. So be consistent as well. So you have to do it over and over again. Do it over. So commitment and consistency, they go hand in hand. Say I'm going to do it on this day, and then do it. Okay? So that's it really for today. If you want to start changing the way you deal with things as far as your money is concerned, and anything else really, is just having that commitment to say, I'm going to do it, a realistic commitment, and then being consistent with it as well. Keep doing it over and over and over and over and over. I'm going to do it, and then when I start to do it, I'm going to do it over and over and over and over again. By the time you know it, you're no longer thinking about, can I or can I not? You've already started doing it. So just take the bull by its horn and just go for it. So I want to say thank you again to our viewers for joining us on another segment of Monday Motivation with Bukola, and also watching this segment of Monday Money Mastery. I will be back again with another segment of Monday Money Mastery with Monday Motivation with Bukola. So I shall see you guys soon, and take care. Thank you, and bye. Thank you.